Most Samsung smartwatches in the past have been launched under the Gear branding. So that might make you wonder, is the Galaxy Watch any different from the other Samsung smartwatches? Well, it still runs on Tizen, and that's a great thing. Hey there, this is Tushar from Dynamic District, and this is a full review of the Samsung Galaxy Watch. Samsung has done a really good job in designing this watch. You see, it looks more like a high-end regular watch than a smartwatch. The design is very simplistic, it's very clean, and it doesn't have any flashy elements like some other smartwatches. It's available in two variants. What we're using right now is a smaller 42mm variant, which looks good on most wrists. However, if you have a bigger wrist, you can always go for the bigger 46mm variant. So our test unit came with a circular 1.2-inch Super AMOLED display. And 1.2 display is available on this 42mm variant. If you go for the larger variant, you'll get a slightly bigger 1.3-inch display. Both displays are AMOLED, they produce very punchy colors, and sunlight legibility is also great. The watch's user interface is very intuitive, mostly thanks to Tizen's simplicity and also that unique rotating bezel, which makes scrolling so much easier. So in terms of fitness tracking, the Galaxy Watch has all the basics covered. It can track steps, measure heartbeat, monitor your sleep and all that. Also, it can gauge your stress levels by using its heart rate monitor. You can pair up this watch with both Android and iOS devices. However, functionality with iOS is quite limited. So you won't be able to use most of the features if you pair this up with something like an iPhone. Android users can download the Galaxy Wearable app and sync the watch with it. The app allows you to change the settings of the watch from the phone itself. When connected to a phone, the watch can also make and receive calls. The loudness of the inbuilt speaker is pretty okay, but the voice delivered via the inbuilt mic is really good by wearable standards. So the biggest problem with this watch is, well, Bixby. You see, Bixby is almost 2 years old now, but still it's very inconsistent and it does not pick up even the most basic voice commands properly. On top of that, Google Assistant is not supported on Tizen OS as of now. Thankfully, you can go to Galaxy apps and download Alexa, but for Alexa to function properly on this watch, you need a companion app on your smartphone. But I would highly recommend you do that because Alexa is a far better AI than Bixby. As you know that this watch runs on Samsung's own Tizen OS. Tizen is a great software, it's very easy to use, it's very simple. But the problem is apps. So if you like having a lot of apps on your wrist, you'll be better off with Google's Wear OS based smartwatch because the collection of apps on Tizen are pretty limited right now. They all work pretty well, but the selection is quite limited. Now, let's come to one of the most important aspects, the battery life. But before I start, I'd like to mention that the bigger 46mm variant of the Galaxy Watch has a much larger 472 mAh unit as compared to our watch's 270 mAh. But still, despite the smaller unit, I was easily able to extract out 2 to 3 days of battery life from this watch. But I never turned on the always-on display though. So if you plan on turning the always-on display, it might take a toll on the battery life quite a bit. So recharging the Galaxy Watch is as easy as slapping it on top of its bundled wireless charger. And then there are two problems. One, charging times are quite slow. In fact, this watch takes over 2 hours to fully recharge. Then, the bundled wireless charger uses the outdated micro USB port for power. Now, this is quite weird. The watch was launched in late 2018. It's a high-end product and it must use the new USB Type-C standard. So, by all means, the Samsung Galaxy Watch is a very capable device. But, as with most smartwatches, you must have a solid reason to spend ₹25,000 on it. If fitness tracking is your primary goal, then you can totally buy a more affordable fitness tracker which will give you all the data you need on a budget, and then you save a lot of money. If you're the kind of person who wants the notification on their wrist, who wants to read the messages on their wrist, then it's fine. But the problem is, if you want to reply to texts or if you want to type emails, then at the end of the day, you have to take your phone out because typing on such a tiny screen is not practical. Therefore, if you can convince yourself that you desperately need a device like this, then of course, the Samsung Galaxy Watch is one of the best smartwatches you can buy in today.